Okay, in this video, we're going to look at setting up a credit card account within Cash Management. You would set up a credit card account if you plan on doing credit card reconciliations and putting in credit card transactions directly to the card, as opposed to treating them as a vendor who you just pay off at the end of the month. You don't care about what charges were actually created on it. So when you set up a credit card in Cash Management and you do the credit card transactions, it allows you to see what each and every transaction was created on it and allows you to reconcile it like you would a bank. You also would pay it off by doing charge payoff instead of doing it through accounts payable. Now, charge payoff does end up creating an accounts payable bill, but if you did it through accounts payable only, as in you just set it up as a vendor in accounts payable and paid it off, you wouldn't be able to have the granular transaction detail. Many people do that. Their credit card is just something they get each month and they pay it off or pay it down, and it's just an AP vendor that they pay off. Others reconcile against it because most of those people reconcile the cards outside of Intacct or their accounting system. Others want to reconcile against the credit card within Intacct, just like they would their bank account. And the two processes are very similar. So let's look at setting up a credit card. We would come here and come into the credit card section and click add. So within the add, by some amazing miracle, we have all the fields filled out. You have to have an ID. You don't have to have a description. Of course, anything with a red asterisk is required, but you have to have an ID. The type, you can choose Visa, MasterCard, Discover, so on and so forth. What type of account it is, credit or debit. Be careful choosing debit unless it is a debit card, because it will have to be linked back to a bank that you already have in Intacct up in here. Your address. Currency is not important in this case. Rule matching set, just like in bank reconciliation, which we'll cover in a little bit. Your expiration date, month and year. You have to have a credit card liability account, an offset account for your credit card. Just like in banks, you have to have a separate GL account for each card. So that might factor in as to whether you want to use this card as something you can reconcile against or as something that you just want to pay off in a lump sum each month, or however you pay it off. You'll need to determine its journal. Well, you need to pick a journal, pick your finance charge GL account, accounts, fees, GL account. If everything goes to your liability account, don't worry about this, or just set it to that, or don't worry about it at all. You can disable enter any transactions. You have to choose a location. And here's the kicker. You still have to have a vendor ID for the credit card, either way you go. So 6 of one, half dozen another as to how you want to do it. But you do have to have a vendor ID account for the card. And what you'll have to do as well, just like your credit card offset account, the vendor ID has to be unique for each card. Now, if you have multiple credit cards under one credit card account, you can do a parent-child relationship where you have the one credit bank and then have other ones. It gets a little bit more complicated, and we would cover that in a more in-depth study of it at a later time, but you could do that. Just know that you have to have a separate GL account and a separate vendor ID for each credit card that you use. After that, you click save. Hopefully it saves correctly, and you have your credit card in here. It is now ready to be used for entering credit card transactions, charges, and payoffs and things of that nature, which we will cover in a little bit.